Hey, what's going on, everybody? It is Monday, time for a brand new episode of Benchwarmers. What is going on? JM 1620 and Best of AZ. Yes, go fucking Mets. Got the first game out of the way. Need to get the second now. But as of a second ago, they're still down 1-0, bottom of the sixth. 2 outs right now, runner on third. So hopefully by the time the show ends, Mets got a lead. So we'll see what happens there. Anyway, if you guys aren't able to show live, you can always catch us on YouTube at Hat-Club. Be sure to subscribe to us, which is a fancy word for follow. And give us a like if you like what you see. David Kern's in the house. Finally got a jersey in the mail for like the first time in weeks, it feels like. Not exactly one I necessarily needed, but it's one I didn't have. And over the last couple months, I've been like tapering into Southside Steven Seabright. What's going on? And Tone Cruz. Tapering into college jerseys. So Champion made a bunch back in the early to mid 90s. And so every now and then I come across a couple. Yeah, maybe I need it, maybe I don't, whatever. But the newest edition is, and this is the only jersey I've gotten the last few weeks. Kawani Garris, University of Illinois, number deuce. He was on definitely a bunch of the early 90s teams. I think he was there from 92 to 95, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, so fighting the Illini, baby. Should have worn it on Saturday when they played Penn State, but I fucked up because they lost. God damn it. But no, glad to add that one to the collection here. Just need to get some more hangers. I am all out. So I've got like jerseys strewn about the floor until I go to Target and get another pack of velvet hangers, if you know what I mean. But anyway, my name is Eric. What is going on? Sub Diego 619. I know you're ready for the postseason to start, brother. Really wish you guys would have done the job against the Dodgers, but it's okay. I forgive you. But anyway, leading off the show, super sad news this morning. NBA Hall of Famer and goddamn hell of a human being, Dikembe Mutombo, passed away at age 58. When I saw this morning, it was just kind of one where it's just like, okay, as big as he was, I mean, from a height perspective, always kept pretty healthy though. I just figured it was going to be a situation of just like, enlarged heart or something like that. And just kind of something that over time, as he got older, it was just going to catch up to him. But I was not expecting to see the news and brain tumor. Super, super sad news. Flashfire, what's going on? Yeah, and sorry, I cut out there for a second. Specifically, and it has more to do with the fact that it's just like this is the biggest memory as far as what put Dikembe Mutombo, and especially during his time on the Denver Nuggets on the main stage, was the 1992 first round of the Super. It was the biggest upset at the time. The first time in NBA history in 18 and knocked off a one. The difference in his face, his body, and in his team, just grabbing the basketball and celebrating on the floor as all the camera guys kind of swarmed around him, in his momentary celebration. And had a solid career. I mean, went from Denver over to Atlanta, then to Philly, played for the Knicks for a very short period of time, played for the Rockets for a bit. I think it was like 18 or 19-year career, played college ball at Georgetown. And of course, there's the great story. I think it was years later, it was disproved. But the story is, while he was going to school at Georgetown, he walks into a bar and just in his loud, deep voice is like, "Who wants the sex Mutombo?" And true or not, pretty sure it's untrue, but just just a great story, just a funny story, to kind of like solidify his legacy. And then most importantly, just everything that he did from a humanitarian perspective, um, for the people of Congo, because he's Congolese. He became a U.S. citizen, number of years ago, and just everything he did. I mean, much in the same sense of Manute Bol and all the money that he gave to Sudan. throughout and after his playing career, and just, had a big heart and gave when he could, every chance that he could. I remember a story of an 8-year-old kid who had a tumor on his face. He brought him over to the States to get him operated on, get the tumor removed, etc. And just a lot of stuff that he did behind the scenes. Didn't need any fanfare behind it, but just gave when he could, and helped a lot of budding superstars that came over from Africa, to help them develop in college, become NBA players, etc. And the world is sadder for not having him in it anymore. And to leave things on a much happier note, of course, there's the Geico commercial that came out about 10 years ago. No, 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 not today. I think we could all just hang our heads on that one, and then that was just Matomo in a nutshell. Just always happy. Uh, the finger wave throughout games, which was hilarious, just because he'd get his block, do the finger wave, but then the team that was on offense still would get the ball back, he'd swat him again, do the finger wave again, etc. And it's just like he was just so in the zone, and arguably one of the best shot blockers of all time. And defensive player of the year on top, which too, got to give him his accolades there. 3-time block champion, 2-time rebound champion, 8-time all-star, 6-time all defensive team, and 4-time defensive player of the year. Number 55, baby. He will be missed. And like I said, the world is better for, what he did. And best goes out to his family. Anyway, other bit of sad news, of course, the Oakland A's are no longer the Oakland A's. They are just the Athletics for right now. Not even go with the Sacramento name once they move to Sacramento for this next baseball season. But I was planning on not going to the game just because I had meetings in the morning that day and had some other stuff going on. And 12:30 start time, so I figured I was going to miss it anyway. But then my coworkers were just like, "Hey, you got to go. At least hit the tailgate," which is what I did. So this is a photo, of course, of the BART Bridge, the last walk on the BART Bridge that I'll be taking for quite some time, at least until the Oakland Roots move over there and start playing games. And so sad times, man. A lot of great memories. My last 40 answer of Mickey's for an A's game, of course, got to commemorate that. And most notably, Mason Miller. A's getting the win that day by the score of 3-2. Mason Miller getting the save, and of course, finding the camera and giving the swipe to show off for Oakland. And hands down, I appreciate Mark Kotze saying some words after the game ended, because last week I had said everybody in Major League Baseball's front office, the team's front office more specifically, had just told players, "Hey, get off the field as soon as the game's over," because they were concerned about shit was going to go south, and it didn't, which I knew was not going to happen because of the fact that the rep that Oakland has, and especially Oaklanders have, is just being, kind of thuggish and ruggish and whatever. But it's just like, nope, we love this team. We love these players. Very respectful for everybody, and really appreciate all the team, the players, the coaches taking time, saying their words, talking with fans afterward, and allowing fans to actually just kind of hang around the stadium, just kind of like soak up the moment. And Sub Diego, yes, Biff Roberts and Brody Brazil, their last show together, or close to their last show together, because Brody Brazil is no longer going to be with Comcast Sports Bay Area, which is stupid as all hell. He and I never saw eye to eye often, but I respected what he did, and I respected his love for Bay Area sports, Brody Brazil specifically. But the moments that they had on camera after the game of just, kind of welling up, and it was good. Everybody cared about this team. I can say locally, and especially Flashfire in Oregon. I know he wanted to be here, but he ended up going to the Seattle games, which is awesome. So that's where everything kind of finished out there. And but that's it for now, at least. I still believe and still hold out hope that the A's will end up in Oakland again. It may be like 5-10 years down the line, but I feel like it could still happen. Tone Cruz, I did not get any dirt. I'm okay with that. Here's a weird story I haven't really talked with anybody about. So back in 2012, when I did the MLB Fan Cave, we had a little display in the studio that had containers of every stadium's dirt. And at some point in time, because we would just do, friendly bets on games and whatever. And so the loser always had to eat the dirt from whatever stadium. So during my time there, for all 30 stadiums, I did eat every stadium's dirt. Not a lot. I mean, it was like a little bit, but it's dumb, but it is a thing that happened. And so I'm okay with that. I'm okay with not getting the dirt. But like I said, at some point, it's weird. Yeah, it's weird as hell that I did that. Um, but yeah. Logan Herrera says, when they won this game, I was really hoping this would be the final Oakland win for two reasons. Because it's more meaningful for the final win of the season to be at home. I agree. And two, nice. Yes, because the A's finished the season at 69 wins. So hell yeah. Southside Steven Searide says Ben's bets have always been bad. It sounds. Hey, you know what? The A's won the West that year. I was there for the first 20th of the season in New York, and the A's were not doing great. So once I got out of there, once I got let go, the A's went on a tear. So it kind of worked out well for everybody. So yeah. Anyway, um, that's about all I gotta say on the A's. I mean, I covered a lot of it last week, and so it still sucks. It's sad, and it's going to be even worse. Like once the season starts next year, and I feel like that's the moment it's really going to become reality. So once they're in Sacramento, which is going to be a huge failure. Speaking of failure in baseball, Rowdy Tellez getting absolutely screwed out of $200,000 by the Pittsburgh Pirates. He was at 421 plate appearances. I mean, he was hitting 243 on the season. Not terrible, not great. I'll admit that, but still, from his perspective, one of his career best. And here's the reason why it's a big deal. So, all of his bonus triggers, top to bottom here. And of course, the most notable one where I talk about $200,000 is the 425 plate appearances. Yeah, one more game would have done it. So I hope to God his agent, his lawyer file a grievance with Major League Baseball because of this. But the fact that the Pirates just up and DFA'd him with about a week left to go in the season, which is insane to begin with, because where the hell is he going to go? AAA and everything else was done, so it's not going to necessarily go anywhere to play anywhere. It's just you're just not on the Pirates anymore for the time being. But yeah, the fact that it's looking like more and more obvious they just don't want to pay the $200,000 to him, it's just like it's so fucking ridiculous and so on brand for the terrible ownership that is the Pittsburgh Pirates. Chicago White Sox, Oakland A's, Pittsburgh Pirates, three of the goddamn worst ownerships in baseball. And the fact that the powers that be, once again, for allowing the A's to leave, but allowing the Pittsburgh Pirates to get away with this. And that's why I hope his agent and lawyer file a grievance against the league and the Pirates for this. And I hope to God they win, because that man deserves his $200,000 because he was definitely going to get it. So anyway, dude, this is just bad news all around for the last week of baseball. Last week I talked about Jose Ramirez, everybody talking about Ohtani, 50-50 guy, etc. And then here's Jose Ramirez for the Cleveland Guardians. And when we did the show last week, he had already hit the 40 stolen bases, but he needed 3 more home runs to get to 40. And before yesterday, he was at 39 with one more game to go. But God apparently had other plans. And the reason I say this is because the last game of the season for both the Guardians and the Astros, the game was in Cleveland. And it was a fucking rain out. And the problem with that is, well, both teams have already solidified a postseason position. The Guardians, of course, winning the NL Central, the Astros winning the AL West. Major League Baseball decided we don't need to play this game. It's good. It's not going to have any impact on any other positions within the postseason format, etc. And so because of that, Jose Ramirez is stuck at 39 home runs and 40 stolen bases. What the fuck? Like, this is not the first time in baseball history that something like this has happened, but it sucks. And Logan Herrera, yes, forgot about the 39 doubles. What the fuck? Like, just let the fans have this. Let this man have this, especially if it was a circumstance much in the same sense like Rowdy Tellez, where it's like, okay, if he would have hit 40 home runs and that's going to trigger a bonus for him, then we got issues. Yes, he had 161 other games where he could have hit this mark, but God damn it. Just why? Why does this all have to happen within a week's time period? Feels so bad for it. And so, because of this, I already know the first game and possibly the first at bat in the Guardians postseason for Jose Ramirez, he's going to hit a dinger. Like, let's be real. And then probably during the same game, he's going to get a double. So it's going to be double or dinger in the first at bat. But either way, he's going to knock both of those marks out easily in this next game. That's just the way baseball goes. Flashfire says Angels averaged about 38,000 their final series at home, and people are like, boycott. It's the only way to get Artie to change. Hey, guess what? Guess what boycotting games would potentially lead to? Exactly, relocation. And remember a couple years ago when Artie Moreno was about to sell the team and then just decided not to? God, that would have been fucking great. Sub Diego says, yo, how is this game in Atlanta not a sellout? I agree with that. I know the chemical explosion, but if it was that bad, MLB Players Union wouldn't allow the game to be played. Also agree with that. So, hold on. Tone Cruz just said something which intrigued me, so I gotta double check this. Checking the score right now. Sorry. Oh, the Braves are up 3-0 now. Great. Way to go. Logar says, just sent you a tweet with the 3 people that robbed J Ram of at least 40 home. Thank you. I'm going to check that out as soon as I'm done wrapping up things here. So anyway, Luis Arias is your National League batting champion with a 314 average. This was kind of crazy unto itself, just because the fact that Luis Arias played 10 less games than Shohei Ohtani, because Shohei Ohtani was actually going for the Triple Crown on top of his 54 home runs, 54 stolen bases. But got to throw him in there. But this is how close it got. So here's Arias' batting. Yes, he got more hits. He got 200, 314 average. But then most notably with Ohtani, 197 hits, beat him by 3 hits, 310 average for Ohtani. And 3 consecutive years that Arias has won the batting title in the I almost said National League, has won the batting title, because let's go back 3 years. Minnesota Twins, which I still can't believe they traded him, won the batting title there. Then he goes to Miami, wins the batting title there. Then Miami trades him middle of the season this year, wins the batting title again. So 3 teams in 3 years. Also, not the first time it's happened, but it's definitely been a long ass time since something like this has happened. But the most notable thing about this, and this is where I was going to talk about the Triple Crown. So obviously the most recent Triple Crown in baseball history was 2012, thanks to your boy, Miguel Cabrera for the Detroit Tigers. Well, the thing about that was it was the first time it had been done since about the 1960s. And in this case for the National League, and why it's of such importance, is the last time a National League player won the Triple Crown, Joe Medwick for the St. Louis Cardinals back in 1937. So closing in on about 100 years here. Got about 13 more years to go. But damn, that would have been a pretty impressive feat, on top of the discussion that we've been having for the last month or so about who is the actual National League MVP. Is it Ohtani or is it Dude Pal with the Mets? I don't know. I still think the jury's out on that, but I still feel like Ohtani's going to get it. 54 home runs, most in the National League. 130 RBI, most in the National League. 134 runs, most in the National League. And then lost out on the batting title and a Triple Crown by 3 goddamn hits. Well, actually, 10 games as well. Just the way it averages out. But it was pretty damn close. And actually probably the closest for for the National League, I would say, in quite some time, at least since Albert Pujols almost did it. So anyway. So here's the way the season ends. And in comparison to how my board looks, I got pretty damn close with this one. So I had the Astros winning, Mariners second, Rangers third, Angels fourth, A's fifth. But Astros obviously finished first in the AL West, blah, blah, blah. I was also thinking the Mariners were going to make the postseason, but they failed me in that regard. Missed out by a game because they decided to get hot at the end of the season. Thanks a lot. Or at least literally the last week after they already been eliminated. So blah, blah, blah. Over in the NL East, Yankees win the division, followed by the Orioles, Red Sox, Rays, and Blue Jays. The way I had it, Orioles, Blue Jays, Yankees, Rays, Boston. Not even close. I mean, I guess you could say I was close only in regard to the Orioles making the postseason, but not that great. And then this one I had dead to rights about 2 weeks ago. And then the Twins decided to shit the bed. And the Tigers decided to be the greatest goddamn team on the planet. So I had the Guardians winning the division, but then I had the Twins, Royals, Tigers, White Sox rounding everything out. So congrats to the Royals and congrats to the Tigers for making it in. Detroit making it in actually does make me happy. I'll kind of explain that. Oh yeah, Angie's not stoked about it at all. But hey, she spent the weekend in LA watching Pearl Jam, so she's good. I'll talk about the impact of the Tigers making the postseason here in just a little bit. So, but over in the National League, the way I had this one working out was Braves, Marlins, Phillies, Mets, Nationals. Not even close. So congrats to the Phillies on winning the division. Congrats to the Mets so far on making the postseason as a wild card team. And of course, if the Braves end up winning this game, congrats to them for making the postseason as well. But unfortunate news for the Arizona Diamondbacks, which I'll talk about here in a second. The Central, I don't know why I thought the Reds were going to win it. I feel very foolish about that because I knew the Brewers were going to do it. And of course they did. But the way I had it shaken out was Reds, then Brewers, then Cubs, then Cardinals, then Pirates. So yeah, just rotate the Reds down the bottom and pretty much everything else lined up perfectly. Just Reds down the bottom, move everything else up, and that's basically how I did it. But yes, as Logan Herrera pointed out, and I talked about last week, the Cubs got arrogant, threw a lot of money at Craig Counsell. So that was the whole reason why I thought the Brewers were going to finish second in the Central. Because, Pat Murphy's been around baseball as a coach for a long time. I didn't know how he was going to do. But realistically, I think he's almost a lock for the manager of the year. You could make the case for the Mets, sure. But you could also make the case for the Padres. So moving over to the NL West, just because of what was it? Schultz. What Schultz has done with the Padres. So the way I had this one shaking out was Padres, then Diamondbacks, then Dodgers, Giants, and Rockies. And once again, if you just put the Dodgers, who won the division, obviously Padres made the postseason, which I knew was going to happen, but just move the Dodgers in the middle of the sandwich there, move Padres and Diamondbacks up, and I got it right. But anyway, so and Logan Herrera, I totally agree. Stephen Vogt, if he does not win the AL Manager of the Year, yeah, as if A's fans weren't already pissed enough as it is, especially considering the fact that we still hold Stephen Vogt on borderline God status in Oakland. It will just give us something else to be pissed about. So yeah, he deserves it. He fucking deserves it. So anyway. So here's a look at the postseason picture. AL is completely locked up. Obviously, we need to finish this Braves Mets game to see how they're going to fit into the situation here. But the way that I hope to God that this postseason works out is I need the Tigers to take down the Astros. Sorry, guys. You guys have won a fucking enough. Tigers last won it in 84. Last World Series appearance, of course, was 2012, which should have been the A's, but that's a whole different mess and story altogether. So I need the Tigers to take down the Astros. So then Tigers versus Cleveland. I would prefer Cleveland. But I'll get into that in a second. So Royals, Orioles. I'm definitely pulling for the Orioles. Sorry, I almost said Royals. Orioles. just because 2015 Royals won. They were in 2014. They won in 85. I don't remember 85. The earliest memory I have for baseball in a World Series was 1986. So for me, it's Mets on. I've said this multiple times over the years. I want to see every team win a World Series in my lifetime. So I'm playing this one based on the best scenarios that I can see possible. The Tigers weren't supposed to make the postseason this year. Let's be honest. But honestly, with the team they have, there's a good chance they're going to be in the postseason next year if they continue and add like 2 more pieces, 3 more pieces, maybe, whatever. So I'm okay with Cleveland taking down Detroit and going to the ALCS. And then on the bottom half, I need the Orioles to take down the Royals and then the Yankees, obviously. So that way, whoever goes the World Series between Cleveland and Baltimore, I'm good. I'm good with that. Orioles, of course, won in 1983. The last time the Cleveland baseball team won was the 1950s. No, sorry, 1948. My apologies. So once again, 2 teams. Yes, the Orioles did technically win in my lifetime because I was born in 83, but I don't remember it. So you know what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying. Meanwhile, on the National League side, I need the Padres to get to the NLCS. I need the Brewers to get the NLCS. And same scenario. One of those teams can move on, and I'm happy. Padres have had 2 World Series appearances, lost both, one in 1984, one in 1998. Brewers have only been in the World Series once, and that was 1982. So ALCS, Cleveland or Detroit versus Baltimore, I'm good. NLCS, Brewers versus Padres, I'm really good. So, for love of God, please allow this to happen. Is that the way it's going to shake out? Probably not, just because screw me, but it'd be so delightful to see it happen. That's realistically the only scenario where it's like I'm actually going to invest my time in the World Series. So, anyway. WNBA playoffs. I got a bone to pick with this. Let me get some water real quick. So, this is why there needs to be more teams in the WNBA. We need to have a fully structured Eastern Conference, Western Conference. So, scenario like this never happens again. And the reason I say this is because the fact that last year's WNBA championship was the Aces versus Liberty. Well, here we are in the semifinals, and for whatever reason, the Aces are playing Liberty. I realize it has to do with seeding, etc., but the fact that we can't have a rematch of the actual championship from last season, no, we get a semifinals matchup, makes no goddamn sense. But as of right now, I'm happy with the results. Liberty up 1-0 in the series, 10-point victory. Yesterday, they're going to go again tomorrow. I want Sabrina to get a ring for obvious reasons. Go Ducks. But no, I did not want this scenario for the semifinals. It's so dumb. I wanted these 2 teams back in the championship game again. Meanwhile, on the other side, Connecticut Sun, 3-point victory over the Minnesota Lynx. Lynx have won multiple championships, not the end of the world. So if the Sun end up winning this half of the bracket, I'm cool with it. But for this half, obviously I'm pulling for the Liberty. But once again, I would have preferred it in the actual championship game. So lame. NFL. Going back to Thursday, this was a nail biter of a game just because of my Pick'ems league. I took the Cowboys -4.5, and thank God I did, and thank God they pulled it off. The most shocking thing about this game, of course, was Brandon Aubrey missing a 51-yard field goal, which would have put the Cowboys up 8. First time in his career that he missed a field goal of 50 yards or more. And, of course, I've got Brandon Aubrey on my fantasy team, so that momentarily affected me for that day. But based on what's going on tonight and the fact that the guy that I'm playing only has the Tennessee Titans defense left, I got this one sewed up. So good win for the Cowboys. Good win for my fantasy team on this one. But moving into Sunday's games, I was really hoping the Panthers were going to cover the 4.5-point spread. They were plus 4.5, especially Andy Dalton going against his former team. And it was pretty close, like realistically throughout most of it. I mean, 220 yards, 2 touchdowns for Dalton. Chuba Hubbard, 104 yards in the touchdown, not too shabs. But then Smoking Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase just had other plans and connected really well. 34-24 victory for their first victory of the year. I know I'm not happy about it either, David. I'm not. This game also frustrated the hell out of me because I took the Falcons -1.5. Now, every year that I've done this Pick'ems league, and of course it's my wife's hospital's Pick'ems league that I'm a part of, every week, every year, the two teams that tend to fuck me over the most are the Saints and the Falcons. And of course, this is a scenario where it's like they're playing each other. So, of course, chaos is going to ensue. What's going to happen? I took the Falcons -1.5, and they had a solid 6-point lead for like the majority of the second half of the game. But then David Carr and company decided to score a touchdown, but left plenty of time on the clock, which allowed Koo, the greatest goddamn kicker in the league, at least from a gambling perspective, have a crack at it from 58 yards out. His furthest of his career, got the win, got the 2-point victory. Fucking love to see it. So thank you, Koo. This should have been a bigger victory for the Texans. I took them -6.5. They win by 4. Jaguars actually had a pretty decent game. They're finally kind of getting the pieces together, but it may be a little bit too late in regard to Doug Peterson keeping his job for much longer, which is kind of unfortunate because I like Doug Peterson, and the fact that he was the Super Bowl winning coach with the Eagles still blows my mind that he's not in Philly anymore. Whatever. But 4-point victory for the Texans. Good to see them get back on the win job. In the win column is what I meant to say there. This game frustrated the hell out of me. I had the Broncos +6.5, so realistically, I had nothing to worry about. But that stat line right there, 12 for 25 for 60 yards passing from Bo Nix and only 1 touchdown. And thankfully, the touchdown came at the end of the game to seal the win for them. What the hell kind of a stat line is that, brother? Now, the Jets do have a good defense. I will admit that. But my God, I'm so glad I didn't watch this game. Frustrating. This was the only morning game that I had access to just because even though Fox for the last week was promoting Eagles versus Buccaneers is the primary game on the Fox network, which it was, unfortunately, the only Fox game that I got this weekend was the afternoon game. So God damn it. I would have loved to have watched this because of the fact that going back to last season, the win the Buccaneers had against the Eagles in the postseason, glorious. And the way things were going I'm jumping ahead. I'm sorry. I'm jumping ahead. Let's go with the Vikings Packers. Sorry. I'll talk about the Buccaneers game here in a second. Sorry. So I did have this game, and my wife is a Packer fan, but like I said, she was out of town. And the fact that it was 28-0 at one point during this game. Oh yeah. Packers are toast. Game over. The shocking part was the Vikings were the underdog in this. So I took them +2.5. Smartly so. Jordan Love looked terrible. Needless to say, in the first quarter, and especially the first half of the second quarter, 3 interceptions on the day. But the man did throw 4 touchdowns and completely turned the fortune around for the Packers throughout the rest of the game. Kind of amazing the Packers weren't able to finish it off. And I want to say the Packers missed 2 field goals yesterday. So you can hang that on the kicker, I suppose. But turn the ball over as much as Jordan Love did also was a big factor into that as well. So thankfully, MVP frontrunner Sam Darnold got the job done. Blows my mind that I even have to say those words. Sorry, Kearns. The Colts took down the Steelers, all thanks to Anthony Richardson getting hurt and the Colts putting in Smoking Joe Flacco, the elitist of quarterbacks. My God. I had the Steelers -1.5 in this game, so I was a little perturbed to see Flacco get in there and just completely dominate, just like he did when he took over the Browns last year. What the fuck? This game sucked. But hey, happy if you're a Bears fan. 6-point victory. I took the Rams. Whoops. Bad move on my part. Even though the Rams had so many opportunities and missed so many goddamn field goals. I think the spread in this game was 2.5. What the fuck? Here it is. Buccaneers, Eagles. Tom Brady in the booth talking shit about Baker Mayfield. And then this, of course, is the day that Baker Mayfield has 347 yards passing, 2 touchdowns. Bucky Irving getting his first touchdown of his regular season NFL career. Love to see it. The Eagles were just a complete disaster. Granted, they started off the third quarter hot, but thankfully the Buccaneers defense cooled things down. Offense kept moving the ball. They got some field goals out of it. Awesome. Pad that lead, baby. But yeah, back-to-back victories right now. Buccaneers over the Eagles. You love to see it. I love to see it. So I hope you guys love to see it. But yeah, the deal that Baker Mayfield signed the offseason after his 1-year experiment last season, oh my God, it's paying off in spades. So anything that Brady had to say in regard to, you know, Baker going in and into a fun environment, quote unquote, etc. And Brady just talking about, yeah, winning's fun and just putting in the work and stuff like that. It's like, you know what? People don't need to be so dietary and robotic like you are, Tom Brady. Other people get it done differently. Yeah, you have 7 goddamn Super Bowl rings, whatever. But I'm happy to see this. I'm happy to see guys that are comfortable, guys that enjoy playing together. I mean, because of that, that's the whole reason why Mike Evans is still in Tampa. Because he was ready to go and Baker convinced him to stick around. And I sincerely appreciate that. So anyway. I'll catch that here in a second, Logan. I, for whatever reason, woke up yesterday. I thought I'd picked the Patriots plus 9.5 in our Pick'ems league, but apparently I had taken the Niners minus 9.5. And so wait, what? Hold on. Breaking news. You got to be kidding. Oh, the Braves did win. So that's what Logan was talking about. So, whoa, 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 whoa. Pete Rose just died? Holy fuck, he did. Well, according to TMZ, I'll see how much salt I put into that. Damn. That's fucking nuts. That is crazy. Second greatest hitter in baseball history behind Ichiro Suzuki. Goddamn. I know it's kind of sacrilege for me to say that, but it's true. Anyway, yeah, so I switched my pick on to the Patriots plus 9.5. What a stupid move that was. So 30-13 final score for the Niners. God damn it. Commanders. Jaden Daniels and the Commanders just dominating this game. 26 for 30, 233 yards in the air for Daniels, but it was obviously the run game that just took the Cardinals down. Sorry to you Arizona fans. I definitely had the Commanders for my pick on this one. I think it was plus 3.5, so that was an easy coverage right there. Chiefs over the Chargers. Chiefs fans, of course, complaining, even though you're 4-0. What are you whining about? Hey, at least Travis Kelce got the ball yesterday, but 17-10 final score. The spread in this game was 7.5. And I thought Justin Herbert was hurt and not going to play, which is why I took the Chiefs minus 7.5. If I had known that Herbert was going to play, I would not have been that stupid. Herbert has a tendency to always cover the spread in favor of the Chargers against the Chiefs. I don't know how he does it, but he always does it. So wish I did it. Raiders, big win over the Browns, 20-16. And then, of course, the night game yesterday was an absolute drubbing. Baltimore Ravens, 35 against the Buffalo Bills, 10. Derrick Henry, just unstoppable. I don't know what the fuck the Titans were thinking letting him go. Idiots. 199 yards on the ground and 1 touchdown. Probably should have actually had more than 1 touchdown, to be honest. But Lamar had 2 in the air, 1 on the ground. So sorry, Austin. Exactly. But over on the college football side, college football, I went to the Giants game this night. So this was Friday. And when we got into the joint, Virginia Tech was up by 10. And then, of course, watching the game on my phone, saw the end of the game and the refs calling a touchdown in favor of Virginia Tech. Oh my God, they beat it. They did it. They beat Miami. But of course, the review overturned it, blah, 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 which was the right call. Let's be real. It was not a touchdown. But I'm glad the referees at least did that, because easier to overturn a touchdown than to try and overturn an incomplete catch and make it a touchdown. So I totally get the politics behind that one and the judgment call there. But my God, at the same time, I'm glad Miami won because next week in Berkeley, college game day, Cal versus Miami. That's part of my Ben's bets, but I'll get to that here in just a little bit. BYU 5-0 as well, moving up to number 17, 34-28 victory over Baylor. No real surprise there. It was kind of dicey at the end, but Mormons pulled it off. Kansas State bounce back win against Oklahoma State. They're still in the top 20 at least. Michigan doing everything they could to lose this game in the end, but still get the win, 27-24. Somehow Michigan is still a top 10 team. Makes no fucking sense to me whatsoever, but they are still a top 10 team. Indiana, 5-0, baby. Nobody saw this one coming, including me. 42-28 victory over Maryland. Really curious to see how far this undefeated streak is going to go because they've been massive underdogs in like every game they played so far. So if you're a betting man like myself, might be time to ride with the Hoosiers. This was the biggest upset, of course, of the weekend. Kentucky, who them losing to South Carolina a few weeks ago helped me win my $850 bet. Almost beat Georgia last week, lost by 1, got screwed by the refs on that, incomplete pass, which was obviously a catch and fumble in the air for a touchdown at the end of the first half. Kentucky got screwed. But I'm glad they got the victory against Ole Miss this time around. Kentucky, just one of those schools where it's just like every week you don't know which team is going to show up, but against like top 25 teams, they always show up, which is crazy. So anyway, man, this fucking game. I was dead certain Fresno State was going to win this game just because of the NIL situation with UNLV's quarterback and UNLV's running back. Both of them deciding not to play. And just because they hadn't, UNLV had not fulfilled the financial obligations to the NIL that they had signed going into the season, etc. So I figured it's like, all right, Fresno State's going to win this one. Nope. Backup for quarterback for UNLV apparently is more of a badass. So UNLV 4-0 start, best start they've had since the program basically started back in 1978. So cool. Thanks. Notre Dame squeaking by Louisville 31-24. Louisville had so many chances to win this game, and I wish to God they did. Fucking hate Notre Dame. My God. And Notre Dame, even after losing to a unranked Northern Illinois, is somehow still in the top 15. I hate the AP and the way they vote this shit because the fact that, and the coaches for that matter, because they always put Notre Dame higher than a lot of other teams, despite the fact that they're really not that good. USC should have lost this game. And this was a scenario because my wife is a big Wisconsin Badger fan. I, of course, am an Oregon fan. And it didn't dawn on me until yesterday, but of course, my wife was in LA already. I could have gone down there and done the doubleheader. I could have done the USC Wisconsin game in the morning and then gone over to Pasadena and catch the Oregon UCLA game. I don't know why the hell I didn't do that. But Wisconsin had a 21-10 lead at halftime and didn't manage to score a single point in the second half. And USC scored 28 unanswered. What the fuck, Badgers? Y'all used to be good. This is so frustrating. Auburn should have beaten Oklahoma, but they squeaked out a win. So Boomer Sooners, 27-21. Texas got by Mississippi State pretty easily. It was kind of touch and go in the first half of the game, but then Texas took over in the second half. So whatever. I thought Stanford was, after their miraculous win against Syracuse, I was expecting better. Fuck, man. 40-14 final score, Clemson over Stanford. It was not pretty in the second half, let me tell you that. I also thought Houston was actually going to put up points against Iowa State. They usually do, but 20-0, Iowa State Cyclones. Thought this game was going to be closer. It was not. Ohio State 38, Michigan State 7. Gives me a little bit of the concerns going into the next 2 weeks for Oregon, because Oregon plays Michigan State on Friday, and then the following week they play Ohio State. So, fuck. I don't know which teams are going to show up. That's where I'm concerned. This was hands down one of the greatest games I've ever seen in my life. And, it started off terribly because of the fact that you just look at the score, 28-7 at halftime in favor of Alabama. And of course, the game was in Tuscaloosa. Georgia just looked god awful. Carson Beck looked terrible. Nothing was going right for Georgia. But I got to give it to Kirby Smart, his coaching staff, and the players for being resilient and persevering and just not letting the scoreboard dictate how things were going to go. Because they not only made a comeback, they took the fucking lead with like less than 3 minutes left to go in the game. It was insane. And then that one pass play to their 17-year-old freshman receiver for Alabama, which turned out to be one of the most insane long distance touchdown receptions and run after catch that I've ever seen, especially for a kid who is young as he is. 17-year-old phenom, as Tone Cruz said. Incredible. So, and it was a scenario where it's like, okay, from Oregon's perspective, who do I want to win this game? Because based on the way the game was ending, even if Georgia had squeaked it out, like Alabama was not going to fall out of the top 10, which we kind of knew. And much in the same sense, if Alabama won, which they did, Georgia's not going to fall out of the top 5, which didn't happen. So Bama jumps to 1, rightfully so, because realistically, Texas hasn't beaten anybody with the exception of Michigan. But how good of a victory was that? Ohio State hasn't beaten anybody either, so I'm glad neither of those squads got the top or got the first position. I'm happy that Alabama did. Makes sense that Georgia's in the 5 spot, so I'm not going to argue that. So good for them. This game sucked because I'd been riding with Illinois basically all season. Of course, I get that jersey in the mail and everything goes to shit. I thought Illinois had this, and they kind of did. I mean, it was close. I mean, 7-7 at the end of the first half, but missed opportunities where Illinois should have scored at the end of the first half. I mean, they were first and goal on the 4-yard line, and they ended up getting pushed back and having to kick a 41-yard field goal that they missed. It was just bad news all around. So 21-7 victory over Penn State over Illinois. Penn State jumps to 7. LSU, screw them. They played a nobody in South Alabama. Somehow I got my things mixed up here. So going ahead, Boise State 45-24 over Washington State. And I got to bring this game up just because of the fact that last week, obviously Boise State was ranked 25 with their win over Washington State, and undefeated at the time, Washington State. I got everybody hitting me up about Pete Rose now. My God. They're now 21. And the fact that Oregon dropped 2 spots in the rankings after beating Boise State is so fucking criminal, especially considering that Ashton Jonty, 845 yards on the season, 13 touchdowns. And I mean, granted, yesterday, 259 on the ground and 4 touchdowns. So that's where the bulk of it's coming from. But the fact that, Boise State getting this much love once again, and Oregon getting the shaft. I mean, yes, Oregon jumped up to 6 after they beat UCLA. Here's that. Dylan Gabriel had a great game. Jordan James had a great game, et cetera, et cetera. So BS, man. And then, of course, Arizona with the big upset over Utah, 23-10. I had a feeling that was going to happen. I didn't bet on it, and I regret it. So, goddamn it. But this one, Rutgers over Washington. This is a Friday game as well. Dubs down, baby. Dubs down. Love to see it. So anyway, here's the AP top 25. So yeah, Bama in the 1, Texas 2, Ohio State 3. Makes sense. Tennessee at 4. Okay, sure, whatever. Georgia dropping to 5. Makes sense. I can't hate on that, even though they have a loss in the top 10, much like Michigan does. I get it. As grueling and intense as that game was, I get why they're still in the top 5. Oregon at least going back up to 6, but Oregon should still be in the top 4. If they were in the Pac-12, they'd still be in the top 4. Bama, Texas, Tennessee, Georgia. 4 teams in the SEC in the top 5. Insane. Whatever. But yeah, Boise State going up to 21. And then, the fact that I got to bring it up again. Oregon State getting penalized for beating Boise State. I don't fucking get it. I don't fucking get this shit. But UNLV in the top 25, A&M top 25, Illinois still in there, makes sense. Blah blah blah. So anyway, here's my picks from last week. Not great. The Commanders one, my lock of the week. At least I was correct about that, because not only did they cover the 7.5 spread or 7.5 point spread, they fucking just beat the Bengals straight up. Mariners did not beat the Astros on that particular day, which was Monday. Damn it. Brentford was on their way to victory, but then West Ham scored in the second half and screwed everything up, and Brentford did not score again, so that ended in a draw. God damn it. And then, of course, Illinois lost to Penn State 21-7. F. So here's my picks for this week, and this is why I was talking about Miami, and it's like, hey, let me get to this. So game day's coming here. I'm actually considering, because my wife's going to be in Vegas this weekend. Lucky her. Yes, I will be sending her with money to make bets for me. Like, no doubt about it. So my Saturday is pretty much wide open. So hell, I'm only like 10 miles away from Berkeley. I got a public transportation system of the BART line that'll get me straight there. So might have to go. Yeah, Miami versus Cal. Why the hell not? If anything, I can just go up to Tightwad Hill with a couple 40s and a pack of smokes, like I used to do when I was going to school at Oregon, and I want to pay for a ticket. Reclamation. God damn it, Steven. Oh, that's great. But yeah, I've got, for my parlays of the week, I got the Seahawks covering the spread against the Lions. I don't know if that's going to mean a victory. We'll see. It's 4.5. It's 4.5. So I feel like the Seahawks are more than capable of at most losing by 3. So that's all I'm asking for. Liberty over the Aces. That's going to be tomorrow, because the game's going to be in New York. And then this is the big one. And Steven, I know you're going to give me shit for this one, but this is hands down one of the biggest money line spreads for a possible scenario that could happen. Fulham over Man City this weekend plus 1,050. So to kind of put that into perspective of what that actually means, give me one sec. Let me log into my MGM. Boom. Tony Khan to the moon, baby. Exactly. Let me just go down. Where you at, Fulham? Nope. Too far. There it is. All right. So $10 would get me $115. So, yeah. Why not? What's the harm there? You're out $10, or you go 5 and have that, so you're at 67.5. If it happens, you're sitting kind of nice. So may have to get the wife to do that. What day is that? It's on Saturday, so she'll definitely be in town. So that's maybe worth a shot. Maybe she and I will just pull $5 each and just go in on that one. Just do that bet solo. Lord knows adding that to a parlay is going to be just like ridiculous. But I'll try and put something together, and I'll post it on my Instagram account if I'm able to do it. So not a gambling show. 100% not a gambling show. Anyway, but yeah, that's all I got. 6 minutes to spare. I thought I was going to go over in time like I did last week and interrupt the 2 Monday Night Football games that we got going on tonight. So yeah, I saw the final score. I was really hoping the Diamondbacks were going to squeak in, but the Mets, after they clinched that first game, just didn't give a shit for game 2 is like basically the way that I look at it. So thanks a lot, jerks. Fuck you, Austin. Not really, but I mean, fuck the Mets. Yeah, because I mean, to use a line from Stephanie McMahon and Triple H, the Mets winning both games would have been what was best for business, just because we're an Arizona-based company. We got so many fucking Diamondbacks hats to sell. You fucked us. You fucked us, New York. You fucked us. So don't appreciate that. But anyway, Yeah, the news about Pete Rose is fucking wild, and the fact that it happened just, like, right in the middle of the show, like, right after I talked about Dikembe Mutombo passing away. So, damn. I'll have to put some words together for next week's show. Because yeah, I was not expecting a bombshell like that to happen in the middle of the show. Logan says, gonna go back in this one. This is probably the first time ever that the clinch shirts were brought to the stadium and both teams got to use. Yeah, dude, that's actually a really good point. Wow. Huh. That is kind of fascinating. So good call there, man. Yeah, I can't think of any, even in any other sport, I can't think of that happening. I know for a fact that I don't think it's ever happened in baseball. Got some research to do now. So anyway, guys, enjoy the football tonight. It's what? Titans, Dolphins. For whatever dumbass reason, I'm taking the Titans. I think they're minus 0.5. Hopefully, Will Levis not only gives us a great meme for the rest of this week, but hopefully gets a goddamn win. And then yeah, Seahawks Lions is the later game. I mean, I know it starts 45 minutes later, but Seahawks money line, baby, or not money line. Cover the spread, 4.5 points. They can do it. They can do it. They better do it. So anyway, shout out to you guys. As always, take it easy, and if you don't, take it sleazy. Rest easy to Dikembe and Charlie Hustle. And yeah, see you guys tomorrow for Duck Dynasty, baby. Oregon versus Michigan State. See how it goes. But anyway, enjoy your night, guys. Peace.